Hello and welcome back to Snowbombing Backstage. My name is Jess Iszatt, and this is the fourth live stream of many that I'll be hosting in the lead up to snowbombing. I'm going to be chatting to different artists and DJs from across Snowbombing's amazing lineup to get you all excited for the festival this coming April. And today I'm chatting to a very exciting drum and bass DJ and producer and snowbombing regular, Harriet Jaxxon. How are we doing?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited for snowbombing this year. And also, it's cool to know that you've been snowbombing before. For anyone that is coming in for the first time and they're watching, they're thinking, what can I expect? What would you say is the best thing about snowbombing?
Yeah, so this year will be the third year, I think, that I've done it, and it definitely stands out for me personally as one of my favorite festivals all year. Um, Reason being, I think the minute you sort of get out of your transfer in the little village, and get out of the car, it already feels like you're kind of in the middle of a party. Very warm, welcoming vibes all around. I've never sensed anything negative the whole time.
Yeah.
Everyone's just super happy. There's something about that mountain air, I think. But yeah, I would say the favorite thing for me is the kind of warm, friendly vibes that you get around the site.
I actually remember when I arrived, because my first time was last year, and we opened up the door, and yeah, the party was all in the village, but we were like obviously getting out to where we were staying, and the snow was like kind of falling down, and it literally was like we're in a snow globe. And like you mentioned, something about the mountain air, you just breathe it in, you're like, oh, this is so exciting that we've landed and we're here. Talk to me about where you've played over the years at snowbombing.
So I've played at the Rack, which is like I think by day or like when it's not snowbombing, it's like some kind of big sports spectacle for like venues with at like this because they're just massive. So they just hold so many people, big production, massive lights, age, LED. So it's like the like the big rave venue, I'd say, at snowbombing. So I've always done a set at Racket. I think suits really well to drum and bass music that I play, just because of the sheer size of it. But on the flip side, I've also done Rompers Reggae Shack a few times, which is like an après ski small venue up the mountain, and it's like super intimate, which is like really cool, but for like the opposite reason.
Is it the one that's in you kind of get off a lift and then it's kind of there and you're kind of in like the window of the venue? Is that the one?
Yes, yeah. It's kind of like on a deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're sort of like at the other side of a window, yeah. But when I first got booked there, I nearly missed my set because me and my friend we got like the lift up, and we could hear music coming from somewhere, but we couldn't work out she was. So we were like wading around the snow by foot. And I was like, I don't know where this stage is, but we made it there in the end. But it was quite funny.
That is so funny. Do you ski or do you snowboard?
So I was never one who went skiing or snowboarding before this. So I definitely didn't have any experience. And then the first year I went to snowbombing, I went with a friend who was very into skiing and quite experienced. And I wouldn't recommend this, but she gave me like a 10-minute crash course in skiing. And then we went to like, she said it was the lowest slope. I think it's like the blue slope.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it didn't feel like low level to me. I was like, this is insane. And I basically just like like, when you have to put your legs together, is it called ploughing?
Snowplow or a pizza.
I did that the whole way. I was so scared. And then I kind of like put me off a little bit, and I haven't been back up the mountain since. So I might try snowboarding next time.
I don't know. If you're not a fan of being on your bum, like I would say that being a beginner skier is probably a little bit easier than snowboarder. But to be honest, you know, you've got to go for it. You've got to try, haven't you?
I feel like I probably should just have a couple of lessons. Like that would be the sensible thing to do.
I think most people just chance it and go out there and just have a go, don't they? But yeah, there's lots of people who are trying it out for the first time, but it's a lot of fun. Also, do you have any like memories from not just playing, but also just being at the festival? Because it's one of those places where it's a bit of a hub, and you get to see loads of people, meet loads of people, perhaps other DJs that you've been connecting with online, and you finally get to see them because we're all like sort of hanging out there, aren't we?
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the other really good things about the festival is everyone's just wandering around day and night down the main street, going to the different restaurants, artists, ravers. It's like I said, it's a very community kind of vibe. There's definitely no like feeling of separation between different groups of people or artists and ravers or so you find yourself sitting at bars and just chatting to whoever quite often. Which is really nice. I think my favourite memory was wandering into the Butchers, which is called Hans the Butchers, and Screamers playing in there, and it was just like absolute carnage. And I was just like, what the hell is this? Just like ham hock legs like hanging from the ceiling, and like just, but it was just full of people like absolutely having it in the middle of the day. So that's
Oh,
kind of
I
what to
love Hansa
expect.
Butchers. It does such good food there as well. I was surprised. I was like, how can you have all these DJs playing in there? And it also is absolutely rammed every time you go past it. But
You're
yeah,
lucky if
food
you
is good.
kind of get in when there's someone DJing in there. But like the music's
Yeah.
kind of the other thing about it is I feel like there's kind of just music everywhere when you're there. Like down the street, there's always like you can hear music all the time. But the
You know
food
what?
is
Actually,
really
there's
good in
also
there.
yeah, there's comedy as well. There's not because I was in a transfer with a comedian and she had loads of bits going on, so it's cool. And also in the street as well, they have oh my God, what is it when it's like an impromptu performance? Flash mobs. They do those as well.
Is that because what? So what when someone just performs in the street, or do you mean? Because I've seen loads of times they'll have like a float go down
Yeah,
with like
yeah.
there's like a carnival there or something, isn't there? Is
There's
that what?
there's always something going on. There is also always
No,
something
and
going on,
it's
which is
it's it's like super random, and it's always just like it's a bit nuts, but it's like really fun.
so good, so good. Right, we like to play a little game here on Snowbombing Backstage. Instead of Shag, Marry, Avoid, we have gone for Sledge, Spa, and Rave. They're all activities that you can get done at snowbombing. And we always ask people, our guests, who would you like to, on the lineup, sledge with, spa with, and rave with?
Which one do you want me to do first?
Let's start with Sledge.
So Sledge, I would say Sub Focus and MCID, who are two good friends of mine. They just like seem like the really kind of extreme sport types of people. Like I know they're good at like being on the slopes and stuff, so I feel like they'd be well up for that.
Okay, and yeah, who are you headed to a rave with?
And I would rave with Andy C and Ton Piper
Okay, that'd be
because
fun.
those guys know how to party.
Oh, which venue? Actually, yeah, at snowbombing, which venue are you guys ending up at?
It would have to be the Racket Club, I'd say.
I feel like your heart's there. It's definitely the lasers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, morning after to cleanse that hangover. Maybe this year you're going to be headed to a spa. Who's coming with you?
The spa, I would have to say Sarah Story. Me and Sarah have known each other for a few years. We used to work on radio together back in the day.
Ah,
So we have like I feel like we'd have a nice girly spa time together.
which radio was this?
So I used to DJ for Ministry of Sound and Capital used to do the Ministry of Sound Weekender. So that's how me and Sarah met a few years ago.
I actually met Sarah through Capital when I was up in Newcastle, so that was a really long time ago. Obviously, she's queening it
Really?
up on Radio 1 now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really
that would be
sick.
wicked. That'd be wicked. Okay, so last year, if we're looking at 2022, you had a wicked summer. I mean, yeah, Glastonbury on the lineup, Boomtown, Boundary in Brighton as well, and I hear you went on tour in Australia too, and New Zealand. I mean, what's if you can pick one, what is the highlight?
Um, it was actually my first time playing at Glastonbury last year after a few failed attempts because of COVID. So I think, I mean, the set itself was great and I loved every second of it, but I think just because of, Glastonbury's just iconic. And I did actually stay for the whole weekend in camp. So I did it properly. So the
It is
whole
the way,
thing
isn't
was
it?
like a good experience. Yeah, that I would have to say Glastonbury. There were so many great festivals last year, so it is hard, but just because it's Glastonbury, I'd have to say that one.
And have you toured on the other side of the world before?
Yeah, so I did Australia and New Zealand before COVID, and then I got back from this time around just a few weeks ago because their summer and winter is opposite to us. So their festival season is like over New Year's Eve, which is really weird when you're there, like celebrating New Year's Eve in like 30-degree heat. But
Yeah.
their festival season is really good. And in New Zealand, they just love drum and bass, which is some people might think is really random, but they just love. It's always such a pleasure to play drum and bass in New Zealand as well.
Oh, that is so amazing. What advice would you give to say if there's another DJ that hasn't yet toured over that side of the world, over that part of the world? What kind of advice would you give them? Like, what have you learned from touring there?
Um, well, I mean, I think there's a few different aspects. I mean, you've got the practical aspect of it, which is there's a lot of traveling and you're in a completely different time zone. So, in a really sensible, practical aspect, like I don't really drink when I go over there because it's pretty hardcore, like the traveling and the jet lag. But I would say the other thing is just to enjoy every minute of it, really, because it's such an honor and privilege to even be able to be flown to the other side of the world, do that kind of traveling, you know, off the back of DJing. So I never take it for granted. And every time I've been over there, I've always kind of been there and like soaked it up as if it was my last. Do you know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah.
never to be taken for granted. So yeah.
Oh, it is so nice, obviously, to be able to travel with work. I've been to Australia once, and I know that they view drinking a little bit differently to the way us lot in the UK do as well. So maybe it is like a good idea to have a cleanse on tour.
Yeah, I mean, last time I went, I think we did 12 flights in 10 days. So I was just like, there's just no way I can be hungover for any part of this.
It's true, it's true. So you won Best Female DJ as well at the Drum and Bass Awards last year. Uh, Tell me about the Drum and Bass Awards because we were having a little chat before we went live, and I as one of my first things when I was in the music industry, this was years and years and years ago, was went to the Drum and Bass Awards, and it completely just blew my mind. It was such an amazing night. Yeah, congratulations. And how was it?
Thank you. So I mean, the awards themselves, I wasn't actually able to make because I had a gig somewhere else. But I think the kind of the fact that there is an awards, I think it's the drum and bass community is very passionate. I've sort of been active in other genres in my career and I started off in drum and bass and I kind of moved back to drum and bass about 6 or 7 years ago, mainly because of the passion, because I just don't think you really find that anywhere else to the same level. So it's nice to kind of feel the sort of what's the intensity of the followers of and fans of the genre and all of us and the ravers and artists. I don't think awards should necessarily be anything that as an artist you should really aim for, but I definitely appreciate the recognition and you know, people going out of their way to vote is a nice feeling. But there are also other, you know, there I just don't think you should really place too much importance on awards either, because I think art is also subjective. So, you know.
Agreeing, literally agreeing with everything you said there. It's a nice celebration. Um, but yeah, don't place too much weight on it. I have to say hello to Victoria, who said Romper's Reggae Shack is a great party in the day. Yes, we'll see you there. And JF Turner has says, can't wait for snowbombing. Yeah, again, we're going to see you both there. Right, I have to ask as well, because you are not just a DJ, but you're also a producer and have so many insane tracks out already. I told you I was bouncing around my room to the latest one that you have on Spotify. It is the latest song that you have out, isn't it? Find a Space.
Sorry, my phone's ringing. One sec. Let me just put my phone on.
It's live, baby. Oh no, we've lost your sound now. Can't hear you anymore. Maybe I should just play the tune. I think she can hear me still, but Harriet's tune, Find a Space, I was like jumping around my room. The sun was shining through my window earlier, and I noticed that that was last year. So I guess my next question would be, what's coming up this year? And hopefully she's going to be able to tell us.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear her. Yes,
I'm so,
this is
I'm so
good.
sorry
She's
about
back.
that. What was the question? Sorry.
So I was talking about the latest track, Find a Space. That is the latest, isn't it?
Yes, that is my latest release. Came out in December.
Oh, it was December. Okay, so it is a recent one. Yeah, you worked with MCGQ on that, and I want to know, yeah, how do you find your features? Because I bet there are so many MCs who are gagging to jump on a drum and bass tune.
Yeah, I think for me, I never really know if or who would fit with a tune until it is kind of developed to a certain point. And just from a personal perspective, I've always been really clear about exactly the kind of artist or the kind of sound I want on the track. Um, so yeah, I think it sort of happens very organically for me, which is how I like it.
How did you meet MCGQ?
I mean, I was first and foremost a drum and bass raver from the age of about 16. Always a massive fan of Andy C, which I think quite a lot of people know. I take a lot of inspiration from him. So he was originally Andy's resident MC. So I spent many years watching him from the crowd. And then I guess over the years we've just formed a friendship, as you do when you bump into people at festivals and clubs. And yeah, he was happy to join me on the track.
That's wicked. I love that. I noticed that his the first intro is just live in Brixton as well, and I feel like MCs are like on their top game down in Brixton. Is that probably like where is? I'm guessing is that where he's from, or perhaps where he like plays the most?
I mean, I think he lives in East London, but I mean, GQ's like definitely been around the world like 6 times with drum and bass. He's one of the legends in the MC game.
Do you get many female MCs on drum and bass?
Yeah, so I actually released a track last year with a girl called Tali. So she's a vocalist MC, and she is based in New Zealand. That's where she's from, but she did quite a lot of time in the UK, in the kind of early 2000s drum and bass scene. So she's another legend. Um, and yeah, we've actually got a track together. And she did sets, emceeing and hosting when I was just over in New Zealand as well. So that was really cool.
The way they literally hype up a set is always my favorite in a drum and bass set. So yeah, have you got any of
I
this
love
in
working with
store?
MCs.
I bet it is literally so much fun when you're playing as well. You're like, yeah, my hype man as well, who's also obviously very incredibly talented, hype woman as well. Will you have any snowboarding with you?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I think the thing with overseas festivals that's always quite cool is quite often you have sort of impromptu like get-togethers with people. So if if there's other people or other MCs that are there that are on the same stage as you on the same day, you kind of just like link up in the moment, which is actually quite a cool thing to do because you end up working with lots of different people.
Yeah. And also, do you have any releases or collabs that you can talk about that are coming out this year?
Yeah, I mean, I have lots of tracks in the bank. A few of them are finished. Lots are, I mean, I'm a kind of classic perfectionist, so I find it really hard to actually like declare when something is finished. But I, I'm like super excited about the music I've got coming out, more than anything else I've put out before. So TBC, TBA, I
Okay.
should say.
Yeah, we're gonna have to keep our eyes out, eyes and ears peeled for Harriet Jaxxon and the new tunes. Before I let you go, we do want to know as well, because obviously all roads here are leading to snowbombing in April. But are there any other festivals and shows that you want to shout about, get people down?
Yeah, I mean, I'm back at Hideout in Croatia this year, hospitality on the beach in Croatia. I just love playing in the sunshine. So if you fancy getting on a plane, then and you're into drum and bass. And I mean, especially at Hideout, there's lots of other great dance music there as well. So both festivals I've done before, but both festivals that I always look forward to every year.
Also, actually, yeah, just one more question. Um, Obviously, drum and bass, so high intensity. Do you ever warm up before one of your sets, like physically?
Oh my gosh, no, but like now you say that, I kind of feel like that would probably be a good idea. Maybe I'll
We'll do some
start.
stretches. We'll do some stretches before your set at
That's a
snowbombing,
great
and then
idea.
yeah, I guess the spa to unwind the next day. Harriet Jaxxon, thank you so much. I absolutely cannot wait to see you on slopes. Hopefully, you will have done maybe a few more lessons or something, and we can do that. Or maybe we could head to the spa because I've not been to one yet at snowbombing. So maybe that could happen.
Definitely, definitely. I can't wait.
And also, of course, thank you everyone else for tuning in, listening, sending in your questions. My name's Jess Iszatt. Look out for the next Snowbombing Backstage Live, which is going to be coming soon. In the meantime, make sure to check out the Snowbombing website and socials. We've got Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, everything getting you really excited for the festival and keeping you up to date with all things snowbombing. And make sure to book that SB23 package, and then we'll see you there. Harriet, thank you so much.
Thank you. See you soon.